Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, I think, is a very vibrant city, culturally diverse, and obviously with a thriving culture for the startup ecosystem, is very robust here. I also happen to be a co-founder and co-chair of the India Startup Foundation, and which has its roots in Hyderabad. So I'm very keen to build on Hyderabad. I'm going to other regions and other countries. So that's what brings me to Hyderabad. And I'm starting my journey from Hyderabad because it's also a place where I met the God himself yesterday. We visited Balaji of Chilkur, and I've been blessed there. I also met Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Saiji yesterday, and he's blessed me again. So I'm absolutely delighted to be in front of you. And just to paint a little picture of where London is and where UK is, I think the world is going through an inflection point, if I might, where there are certain wars ongoing, there is financial crises, and there's a cost of living crisis which is plaguing most of us globally. And against that backdrop, you have London, which is a global city. It's a city which perhaps there are 300 odd languages spoken there. It's a melting pot where people come. It's culturally diverse. I think it's a cultural capital where you have over 3,000 odd, if you will, shows and music festivals going on every year. The cuisine is second to none. But apart from that, the economy is not the same as it was before. So if you see London, the smiles have been lost over the years because we suffered from Brexit, where the UK exited from Europe. So Brexit has impacted because we haven't yet taken advantage, and that is why we are on the threshold of actually signing a free trade agreement. The UK is on the threshold of signing a free trade agreement, which is perhaps on its last stages. Some crucial discussions always take place towards the end. So I would expect the Prime Minister of the UK and India indeed to perhaps early November or perhaps just around Diwali to sign that agreement, if you're all lucky. That should pave the way for trade and investments. I think the UK also benefits from a leveling up culture that needs to be brought up. So the only way to have economies thrive is to have a leveling up culture where everybody who's not really having it all should grow. So the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where you have one world, one family, is where I come from. I believe I grew up here and spent over 30 odd years of my life in India, and then I've been living all over the world. I've lived in 6, 7 odd countries, and I found that the only way you can actually succeed is to take people along with you. We don't have all the answers. We are not, you get people who are better than you to work as part of your team. So my idea is we'll have a top team of cabinet as a London mayor, and we'll make everybody come up and thrive. So I want to see the next generation benefit. Jobs need to be created. There is an element of what you might call safety as we speak. I don't see police on the ground in London. In other words, whatever gets measured gets done. It's not visible today. So I want to see police actually visible. I want to open more police stations. I also find that the movement of people is as important as freedom of speech. So freedom of movement is not really existing today. So what is happening is, if you're a small-time businessman and you have to move from one part of the city to the other, if you're driving a vehicle that is listed beyond a certain day, they've created ultra-low emission zones. So what that means is you pay pounds, £12.50 just to enter a zone. And then there's a congestion charge. If you enter that zone, you pay another £15. So it's pretty onerous on a small-time business person to move in. I'm going to abolish it on day one. I don't want anything that inhibits business or the freedom of people where its movement is concerned. Also, I find that they're inhibiting the movement of traffic by creating, if you will, low traffic neighborhoods. So you basically mean you have low traffic in one area, but on the other side, you're diverting the traffic there. So you want to make sure, I don't have all the answers. I've been speaking with people, and it suggests to me that you need to change this. And then they have speed limits, in other words, 20-mile speeds. Now, not every area is bereft with where you have accidents caused due to speeding. 30 miles per hour used to be the norm. I want to review that sort of a thing. Where feasible, bring back the 30 miles so people can move. So all I'm looking for is actually bringing back the mojo in London. It is a global city. It still ranks number one in the world on most parameters. But if you look at the global index of global Fortune 500 companies, those numbers that had their headquarters in London have reduced over the last few years. Still, 40% of the global equities are traded there. About 30% of the foreign exchange transactions in the world are done there. But you see, when a global entity which is on the global 500 index, Fortune 500, is not listed there, suggests something that the costs have gone up. I want to bring that back to the London. I want to bring London thriving again. And you can only thrive when you have everybody moving along the same sort of path of growth. So my motto, as you see, is trust and growth. It's not just because coincidentally my initials stand for TNG. I have, I think, nearly about 4 decades of experience in the world of finance. I've risen to the very top of the financial services world. I want to bring all my experience in the financial services world globally now to serve people. And my family has a deep background, over 140 years of serving people. So my father rose to the rank of Secretary Government of India, but at 89, over about 4 decades, when organic farming was just a buzzword, including from the president's estate to other, he's been helping farmers in different states for free increase the productivity of their farming through organic farming. The side who studied in the UK in the early 1900s, he then rose to be a top civil servant of. So public service is ingrained. And on my mother's side, we actually are co-founders of Punjab National Bank. And if you will, the precursor to what is now called Associated Chamber of Commerce those days. So we've founded several industries, several financial institutions, and indeed, he was also the first agriculture minister in Punjab province, which is the largest province. So from that background, I believe that London, which actually is not only comprising of Indians, the voting population of Indians is only 4 to 5%. London is, I use the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is basically one world, one family. I want to bring everybody along. So there are Romanians there are Lithuanians there are Polish people there are Estonians there are people from Hong Kong who moved there are Sri Lankans, there are Bangladeshis, Pakistanis. So I want to be that mayor for everybody. And you can only do that if you take people along with you, those that don't have it. So the idea is those that have it, it's like you run a startup or a business and we advise people. They create lofty valuations, but actually don't create value. Whenever you create value, it takes everybody along. There are those, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are some that are looking for self-actualization and they reach the pinnacle, but the others who are just actually still waiting to have the bare necessities. So the idea is we want to uplift everybody. And there is a lot of low-income people, a lot of unemployment still rife. You can only bring that by bringing new ideas, new policies that change. So I'm standing as an independent. I was a member of the Conservative Party, and I could continue there. When you are part of a party, go a party line. You can't take bold decisions, and the world only moves out of a person who can drive London forward. And I think I'm that person. So I thank you once again for your indulgence, making the time afternoon. And I'd be delighted to.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here and showing your interest in covering this event. I personally would like to congratulate Mr. Ghulati for taking this bold step. I have had a brief interaction with him a few days back, and I have also watched his profession. And I think he really fits the bill. He comes with a good background. He understands the business, and perhaps he understands the business of running a city. And maybe some of you also know that I have been a part of India's growth story as far as cities are concerned. Allow me very quick introduction. There are a couple of commonalities. Why is Karuna today supporting Mr. Ghulati? They're asking me, why are you supporting Mr. Ghulati? So ఒకటి ఏంటంటే ఆయన అచీవ్మెంట్స్ ఒకటి, ఆయన విజన్ ఫార్ లండన్ సిటీ నేను తెలుసుకున్నాను కనుక ఐ థాట్ హీస్ అ గుడ్ క్యాండిడేట్. అండ్ ఇంకొక విషయం ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు వారి ఫాదర్ గవర్నమెంట్ కి సెక్రటరీ లాగా ఉన్నప్పుడు మా ఫాదర్ కూడా వీ హ్యావ్ ఆల్సో సర్వ్డ్ ది గవర్నమెంట్ ఫర్ అ లాంగ్ టైమ్. పంజాబ్ నేషనల్ బ్యాంక్ అంటున్నారు, మా తాతగారు ఆంధ్ర బ్యాంక్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. సో ద పాయింట్ ఈస్ we are in the same quest for bettering our countries and bettering our cities. అయితే ఇక్కడ మీకు ముఖ్యంగా నేను ఇంకొక రీజన్తో ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు ఉన్నాను అంటే, నాకు ఒక టెక్నికల్ రీజన్ కూడా ఉంది సపోర్ట్ చేయడానికి. యూకే ఇండియా పార్ట్నర్షిప్లో నేను ఎన్నేళ్లగానో ఐ వాజ్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ దాట్. ఫర్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ 2013లో, when you may not know this, but I will say it, Richard King visited India. I was the only one invited to speak and address the audience. Sir Richard King was sitting here and I was sitting here and both of us spoke. So varevaru ante he was advisor to Prime Minister. So my relationship started many years back when Boris Johnson, who was the mayor at that time, visited and we had a lot of discussion on మన cities ని ఎట్లా బాగు చేయాలి, లండన్ తో ఎట్లా కంపేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఈ డిస్కషన్ అంతా అయింది. 2014-2017 రెండు ఇయర్స్ లో కూడా యూకే ఇండియా పార్ట్నర్షిప్ టెక్ సమ్మిట్ లో టెక్నాలజీ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ మీద I was a speaker along with many of your parliamentarians. అదే కాకుండా 2015లో I was in London. I chaired a session with parliamentarians. అంటే అక్కడ parliamentarians, ఇక్కడ parliamentarians, నేను సెంటర్లో కూర్చుని I was chairing the session on smart grids and smart cities. Then the last one is, I was a plenary speaker when Theresa May, at that time she was the Prime Minister, out of India 2016 లో వచ్చినప్పుడు మోడీ గారు తెరిసా మే మాట్లాడిన తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ స్టేజ్ మీద వెళ్ళింది నేను, మా కలీగ్స్ అనమాట, ప్లీనరీ సెషన్. సో ఐ హ్యావ్ బీన్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ సెవరల్ ఇంటరాక్షన్స్ విత్ యూకే గవర్నమెంట్ అండ్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ హౌ టెక్నాలజీ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ కెన్ హ్యాపెన్, హౌ బోత్ ద నేషన్స్ కెన్ కొలాబరేట్, ఇండియా అండ్ యూకే. ఇప్పుడు 3 reasons చెప్తాను why I think his candidature has to be supported. ఫస్ట్ రీజన్ ఏంటంటే, మీరు చదివే ఉంటారు, యూకే ఇండియా హ్యాస్ బీన్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ 2030 రోడ్ మ్యాప్. అంటే 2030 వరకు మనం ఇండియా యూకే కొలాబరేషన్ ఎట్లా జరగాలి, ఏ విషయాల మీద జరగాలి అని చాలా డిస్కషన్స్ జరిగాయి ఆల్ బిట్వీన్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్స్. అందులో ఏంటంటే నేవీ టు నేవీ మ్యాచింగ్, ఆర్మీ టు ఆర్మీ మ్యాచింగ్ అన్ని డిస్కస్ చేశారు. ఐ వాజ్ థింకింగ్ దే విల్ ఆల్సో డూ సిటీ టు సిటీ మ్యాచింగ్, యా. సో ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ అయితే ఈ డిస్కషన్స్ జరిగాక సెకండ్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు గ్లోబల్ విషయాలు చాలా డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతుంది బిట్వీన్ యూకే అండ్ ఇండియా. ఏంటది? క్లైమేట్ చేంజ్ మీద, ఇన్ఈక్వాలిటీస్ ఎట్లా తీయాలి అంటే ఇంక్లూజన్ మీద, టెర్రరిజం మీద, సేఫ్టీ మీద, వీటి మీద కూడా గ్లోబల్ విషయాలు కదా ఇవన్నీ, దీని మీద కూడా డిస్కషన్స్ జరిగాయి. సో దానిలో వీరి రోల్ బాగా ఉంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇఫ్ యూ సీ టిపికలీ వెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ టెక్నాలజీ ఎక్స్చేంజ్, వెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ ఇన్నోవేషన్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్, వెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ షేరింగ్ రిసోర్సెస్, వెన్ యూ వాంట్ టు డూ ఫ్రీ ట్రేడ్ అండ్ కామర్స్, ఇట్స్ మోస్ట్లీ సిటీస్ బికాస్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ హ్యాపన్స్ ఇన్ సిటీస్. సిటీస్ ఆర్ ద హబ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్నోవేషన్, టెక్నాలజీ, ఎవ్రీథింగ్. సో సిటీస్ ఆర్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో వీరికి పెద్ద రోల్ ఉంటుంది. అయితే మూడో ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ మనం యాక్చువల్గా నోటీస్ చేయవలసింది ఏంటంటే, యూకేలో ఒక 18 లక్షల ఇండియన్స్ ఉన్నారు. అందులో సో వీరికి ఎక్కువ సపోర్ట్ దొరుకుతుంది అన్న అభిప్రాయం కూడా ఉంది మాకు. సో కన్సిడరింగ్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ అ వెరీ స్ట్రాంగ్ డయాస్పోరా దేర్, వీ బిలీవ్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ అ fairly strong chance of winning the mayoral seat. So I have given them 3 reasons. Between India and UK, we've had several discussions, and most of the discussions are to do with cities and innovation and technology and safety and climate change, which basically affects only cities. So I think he knows, and he has taken the bold step of getting into the fray, as we call. And I personally believe that he stands a fantastic chance of winning. Definitely our support. Plan that he has when he spoke about different ethnicities, ante Bangladesh nunchi unnaru, ikkadi nunchi unnaru, Estonia nunchi unnaru, Lithuania nunchi unnaru, avanni matladaru ante he has a plan, he's working on it. So he needs your support, and I am also here to support him in whatever way I can. So thank you very much for being here.